during our formal school board meetings are to support and carry out our mission and our vision of student success. I would ask that you stand and join me in the pledge to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Dr. Gaylor, are there any additions or corrections for this evening's agenda?
There are two. Item F2G, Personnel Addendum Number 1, and item F2F, which is authorization for board chairman to sign MOU with DOE for district participation in the Race to the Top grant application program.
So moved. Second.
It's been moved and seconded that the additions to the agenda be added as described by the superintendent. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Next, we have two reports. Dr. Gaylor.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. The first of these is a recognition of a fundraiser that was a lot of fun and was held several weeks ago in November with the assistance and actually the coordination of the Punta Gorda Police Department, and the funding went to Do the Right Thing, which, as you all know, is a great program sponsored by the Punta Gorda Police Department. Here tonight is Chief Butch Arnell, who is going to speak to you for a couple of minutes about that endeavor. And welcome, Chief.
Thank you very much. Thank you, members of the school board. Thank you for giving us just a couple minutes. I had contacted Dr. Gaylor and asked him if we could have a few because Do the Right Thing of Charlotte County is our cornerstone of our youth programs in the city of Punta Gorda. And the crux of Do the Right Thing is to, particularly in a profession in which we deal with a lot of negatives involving our youth, it's to honor and give recognition to those kids in our community that do the right things, whether it's find a wallet and report it, save somebody from a burning house, or help somebody out on their private time or donate things. We honor kids every month as part of our program. I serve as president of Do the Right Thing of Charlotte County Incorporated. We are honored to have member Eileen Miller on our board of directors, and she's been a great benefit. And of course, we have your support. You show up at our Do the Right Thing ceremonies for the kids. We make a big deal. We give them a lot of gifts and presents, and their parents are there. Their moms get flowers, and that always embarrasses them. And with them, but it's a wonderful thing. Sergeant King came up with the idea as a fundraiser to incorporate the most important partner we have, which is Charlotte County Schools. And I know he approached you, Dr. Gaylor, with this concept of doing a first annual Charlotte County Schools tournament, softball tournament. And before we did this on November 7th, I was under the impression that law enforcement and fire were the most competitive professions out there. We quickly found out that the schools are equally vicious and competitive, and they love the cause, and they came together, and all the schools got involved, and they came out and did this tournament. It was a grueling day. It was a long day, and we've been involved in these tournaments as well, and we've had the same experience, but it was one of the best days that I've ever experienced because just all of these teachers and faculty coming out on their own time, raising money. We raised almost $4,000, and every penny of that money, every bit of that money will go towards the things we do for the kids, whether it be a $50 gift certificate for the mall, or a Navigator boat ride, or the trophies we give them, or all the recognition that we give them. And it was a wonderful, wonderful event. And we wanted to thank you personally, and we hope that this gets communicated to all of the school faculties. We are not bitter that it came down to Charlotte High versus Port Charlotte High, and Port Charlotte High won. We did have a favorite, I will admit to you, but it's all good. It's all. And we were rooting for Sally Jones as well, and they were out there fighting. But it was a wonderful day, and it was all in the spirit of good competitive fun. Sergeant King wanted to be here. He could not. He is on vacation. But his acting supervisor, Larry Schrader, who is one of our school resource officers at Charlotte High, is here, and he just wanted to say a brief word to you.
I'd like to just underscore the comments made by the chief. It was a fantastic experience. I was impressed especially with the competition among the schools. I heard teachers coming up telling me what a great day it was, how much fun they were having. In fact, some of them were even saying, can't you do this more often than once a year? We talked about schools being there, but we neglected to mention the administration had a team as well, which was also, I think, a great experience for people to see, that it wasn't just teachers out there, but the entire school district was there. Board members were represented. And as the chief has already said, it was a fantastic experience for our kids. It raised a lot of money, and it's a Charlotte County project, not just the city of Punta Gorda. We recognize kids in every school in the county, and again, our thanks for supporting it the way you did.
And Dr. Gaylor, with that, I'd just like to present to you on behalf of Do the Right Thing of Charlotte County and the Punta Gorda Police Department with this plaque. And it says, presented to Charlotte County Schools, I think, the best school system in the state of Florida. Once again, I'm partial. And it says, the first annual Do the Right Thing of Charlotte County softball tournament, Saturday, November 7th, 2009, in grateful recognition and sincere appreciation of your dedication and commitment in support of the outstanding youth of Charlotte County. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thanks for your cooperation. I appreciate it.
And once again, thank you for having us. And Dr. Gaylor, I heard you were the power hitter for the admin team and for being out there with it. You put pressure on me now. So now I thank you very much.
Thank you. We appreciate so much all you do. It is a wonderful program, and we're glad that our students have that recognition and that we have the partnership. And we look forward to another tournament next year, maybe a few little tweaks on separating the jocks and those that are out for fun.
Yeah, thanks, Chief. Larry, thank you also from me and the members of the administration. We particularly appreciate you choosing the fields that had the short fences. We must have had 250 home runs hit. Even Mike Riley hit a home run. He's one in his life. So it really was a lot of fun. I'm glad you raised that much money. I didn't know that was quite that much. So, yeah, very good. Thank you so much. We appreciate it.
All right, and next we have a report on the Charlotte High School three-story historical building.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. And I'll ask Jerry Olivo, our Assistant Superintendent for District Support, to come up and introduce Jack Williams, who you all know from Harvard Jolly.
Thank you, Dr. Gaylor. Madam Chairwoman, school board members, the reports of Jack Williams from Harvard Jolly's demise into the architectural abyss, better known as Orlando, Florida, are greatly exaggerated. Mr. Williams is still an active participant in the Charlotte High School rebuilding, and he would like to speak with you for a few moments and make a presentation to you. Thanks. Jack?
Well, good evening. Yeah, I'm glad Jerry cleared that up. Because apparently I've been getting constant ribbing about moving to Orlando from many of the staff and facilities and some others. But anyway, I did want to also reassure, obviously, my commitment, the fact that I have made all the construction meetings and still very active in it, although I did miss one at Thanksgiving that I haven't been able to live down yet. But anyway, with that being said, I do want to say that, we're very thankful and very honored to be a part of the team for the Charlotte High School rebuild. And it really has been a team effort with Jerry Olivo, Gene Spur and their staff, as well as Ajax Construction and the staff and students of Charlotte High School. So we feel very honored and thankful about being part of that team. And with that being said, we'd like to present to you this evening a small token of our appreciation, which is a photograph, a nighttime photograph of the three-story at Charlotte High School.
That is beautiful. It's gorgeous. We'll find a very special spot for this.
Right.
And I have to say, having attended one of those early planning meetings when you were the architect in the room, and everyone had all their ideas, and everybody's idea, of course, was the correct idea, and they weren't all meshing, and you listened so patiently, and then more ideas, and I thought, oh my gosh, how are we ever going to get to consensus on this? But you did a wonderful job of listening and recognizing the things that were critically important to some of the historical Charlotte High people. And it's ended up in a wonderful end result. And we appreciate so much all the extra time and patience and listening that you did to get us to this point today. So we appreciate the partnership with Harvard Jolly and especially the job that you did, Mr. Williams.
No question about it. I know that you're extremely proud of that entire building process, and that 1926 building is something special. Interestingly, Mr. Swift and I happened to catch up with Harry Canan who's a board member in Manatee County, and their superintendent, Tim McGonigal, a couple of weeks ago at the FSBA conference. They have not an identical, but they have a 1926 building as well, Manatee High School, you're probably familiar with. They elected to do just exactly the opposite of what we did. They're going to actually tear the building down completely and rebuild it from scratch with new materials. So, but they're going to build it to look exactly, in terms of the facade, exactly like the old Manatee High School. So, two different philosophies there, but I got to tell you, Jack, I'm really glad we went with the philosophy that we did, because that building continues to exist as it did in 1926, but better, but even better. And it's got all that original brick in it, which is very sentimental to the people in Punta Gorda and all over this county. So thank you for that.
Wonderful project. We don't have any old business for this evening, so we move to new business. Item F1, the consent agenda. Dr. Gaylor.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. I only want to point out one thing on the consent agenda, and that's at the end of the financial report, the very last page. I've mentioned it to each of you in our pre-board agenda meetings, and that is our hurricane expenditures for all of the schools that we've rebuilt. We're, of course, 3/4 of the way through Charlotte High School, our last school. All of the modulars that were rented over the years, and every other expense related to that now totals over $250 million, $250 million, up to $290 million. That's all funds combined, and I got to tell you, that's a lot of money. And that's more money by double at least than any other district has ever had in the history of the state of Florida in terms of storm recovery. It's a phenomenal amount of money with no improprieties. I just wanted to note that. And with that, I would recommend approval of the consent agenda as submitted.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve the consent agenda as submitted. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Next, we have item F2A, Florida School Board's Insurance Trust Agreement. Dr. Gaylor.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. And this is the proposed agreement between the Florida School Board's Insurance Trust, or FSBIT as we've known it, and the School Board of Charlotte County for our health program, which will start in January. And I would recommend approval of this agreement as submitted to you this evening.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve the agreement for the Florida School Board Insurance Trust as submitted. Any discussion? Mrs. Messina.
Yes, I actually have a question from Mr. Swift, who is our representative on that body board thing. Has there been talk of other school districts joining with us next year? And if so, how valid are we thinking that it is?
I talked to two different districts that are both seriously interested in, and one almost came in this year, but they were able to leverage this agreement into only a 2% premium increase from their current carrier. I doubt if that will hold them another year, but I think there are a total of 3, maybe 4 districts that are seriously looking at it, and we've got some good numbers to use to sell the program based on just our beginning with it. So I am very hopeful that there will be 2 or 3 more for next year.
Great, thanks.
And I'd like to thank you, Mr. Swift, for all the work you have been doing on that. I know it's going to be a good project as it moves forward for whatever districts decide to join us, and I appreciate your staying on top of everything.
It's one of those things that in concept makes a great deal of sense. The fundamentals of pooling together and averaging out one district having a bad year, another district having a good year over the entire pool holds up great promise for the future, and I really think that we will see some strong benefits starting next year.
Good. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Next is item F2B, the SES contract termination with JD Global Incorporated.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. The Supplementary Education Services contract with JD Global is being terminated because they are not in compliance with the contractual requirement for workers' comp insurance. It's as simple as that. I recommend approval of this contract termination as submitted to you this
So
evening.
moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we terminate the contract with JD Global Incorporated. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Next is item F2C, acceptance of ratification of the CFEA and the FEA contract agreements.
Yes, ma'am. Mediation yielded collective bargaining agreements, memorandum of understanding, health insurance rates, and those documents are before you here with the CCSPA and the CFEA in November. Their members ratified, both groups ratified these documents, and I would recommend that you accept that ratification as submitted to you this evening.
So moved. Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we accept the ratification of the CFEA and the FEA contract agreements as presented this evening. Any discussion? Is there anyone wishing to address the board on this agenda item?
John Clenavik.
Mr. Klenevich.
Madam Chair, school board members, Dr. Gaylor. For the record, my name is John Clenavik. I currently serve as president of the Charlotte FEA. On December 1st, 2009, Charlotte County Schools instructional staff ratified the 2010 health insurance changes in the federal mediator's recommendations by a vote of 761 in favor, with 116 opposed. Please don't be misled. This vote did not reflect satisfaction, but served as a vote to stave off imposition of something that our employees believed would have been more adverse to they and their families. As you must know, morale of your employees has been significantly diminished not as continues to be alleged by any churning or misrepresentation of their union officials, but by your continued commitment to the sky is falling budget scenario and the diminishment of your employees' priorities. Rather than make the commitment to your most important asset, you choose to be more concerned over a fund balance, even though safeguards are in place to allow any unforeseen crisis to be dealt with properly. Be that as it may, we have unfinished business. The fact that there is an economic crisis in this country is not in dispute. You must recognize that we are in a business that requires value to be measured in ways other than a fund balance. Your employees have seen no raises since July 1, 2007, as foreclosures, bankruptcies, and divorces continue to mount. Your employees continue to produce. Can there be any doubt that they understand value as they continue to help our students outperform those in nearly every other county in the state? It's lost on no one here that unlike Charlotte, the surrounding counties have all found the means necessary to compensate their most important assets. And they've all done so without laying off people. Your employees have earned the right to be financially acknowledged. Our crisis remains now.
Is there anyone else wishing to address us?
No, ma'am.
Any board discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Next is item F2D, the 2010-2011 calendars. Dr. Gaylor.
Yes, ma'am. And we have the 2010-2011 calendars for both the regular school calendar and the year-round calendar. And we, just by way of comment here, start first day for teachers, August 2nd, first day for students, August 9th. We end up the year, assuming no hurricanes, on May the 26th. We do have 3 hurricane days built in. We have an early spring break because FCAT will occur at the end of March and throughout the month of April in the 2010-2011 year. And we have a similar calendar for year-round, which starts July 7th as first day for teachers and, of course, ends up May 26th, which is the last day of the regular calendar. May 25th is the last day for students. There are intersessions and interspersed in to this calendar as well, both in the fall and in the spring. So I would submit to you these calendars for approval this evening. We had a calendar committee who did yeoman's work this year. and we appreciate that work very much, headed by Assistant Superintendent Barbara Mellinson. So I'd recommend approval of these calendars as submitted to you this evening.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that the calendars submitted be approved. Any discussion? I just would like to, certainly on behalf of the board, thank the entire calendar committee. We know, people when they aren't involved think it's really a relatively simple thing, and we know it is very complex. And you do a wonderful job year after year, and most especially you've got that Hurricane Makeup Day number 3, the day before Thanksgiving, and that is just wonderful and worked very well with the new FCAT schedule as well. So thank you very much. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Next is item F2E, personnel action and job descriptions and an addendum.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Just a couple of notes on this. Let me get my rotation here correct.
To freeze up.
No, it's good. It's
Join the crowd.
Just needed to turn it from horizontal to vertical.
Okay.
Just a couple of notes on here. Very sorry to hear of the death of Julie Magnuson, who is a teacher that's been with us for 9 years in adult education and taught the GED program at our county jail, and she will certainly be missed. Also, in terms of retirements of significant years, Paul Cleveland, who's a teacher at L.A. Anger, 27 years. Linda Carmody, reading specialist with ESE, 34 years. And Jan Williams, although it says 7 years here, that's just second retirement. She has a total of 41 years in the district. So we have some significant retirements on this agenda. With that, I would recommend approval of the personnel action and job descriptions as submitted to you this evening.
So moved. Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve the personnel action and job descriptions as submitted. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Next is item F2F, authorization for the board chairman to sign memorandum of understanding. It's an MOU with the DOE for the RTT.
That's right. Even though the issues surrounding the RTT or Race to the Top, quite frankly, don't look like we will be amenable to them today, you never know what can happen between now and January 12th. I don't really expect much to happen, but you never know what can happen. So we don't have a board meeting until January 26th. And I don't want to call a special board meeting just to ask the board chair to sign an MOU agreement if we get to that point. So I'm just asking that the board authorize the board chairman to sign an MOU in the event that we get to the point where we need to sign one if things change in Florida's MOU process. So that would be signed at some point prior to January the 12th if we needed to do that. So I recommend that we approve this item this evening in case we need to sign the MOU for the RTT with the FLDOE. Is that the way you put that?
More or less.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that the board chairman be authorized to sign the memorandum of understanding for the Race to the Top. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Next is citizen comment. Is there any citizen wishing to address us this evening? Thank you. Attorney comment, Mrs. Young?
Nothing, Madam Chair.
All righty. Board member comment, Mrs. Rendell?
Thank you. A huge thank you to Gail Buck and her nurses. For weeks and weeks now, and her nurses, and I should say the Charlotte Technical Center student nurses and the individual school staff, for weeks they have conducted vaccine clinics around the district, and I have consistently heard the same message over and over again after these clinics have been completed, and they're well organized and planned. The nurses and the staff are patient, kind, and comforting. The nurses are competent and knowledgeable. The students are brave. And we have a lot of good parent volunteers. And it's been a tremendous amount of work. I know that I was at one of them. I know Mrs. Miller has attended one clinic, and it's a long, grueling day. And yet the students are, as much as they are oftentimes afraid of the shots. There's, the staff is comforting them, and they're okay with it. So thank you to all the nurses and the schools for their work on these vaccine clinics. And I see Terry Whitaker in the audience, and she'll understand when I say superpower vegetables. Jumping with Jill, or Jump with Jill was at Jumping Jill, I should say, from New York City, was at Neil Armstrong this morning for their 2nd to 4th graders, and it was about an hour and 10-minute presentation on nutrition and food and health and exercise and eating right, and a little bit of advertising, how the advertisers sway you to buy a product. And I'm still recovering from the movement, the dance, the song, and all the information that she gave the students. To me, it was about a 4 to 6 week curriculum that she condensed into an hour and 10-minute long presentation. It was really quite extensive. I was surprised. And it wasn't just all the fluff of the music and the entertainment. There was a lot of substance there. And thank you for bringing her to our schools. And she'll be at Myakka River tomorrow. I think it's at 9 o'clock. So if you missed Jill today, she'll be here tomorrow. And Merry Christmas to everyone, and I hope you have a lot of nice time with your family and friends, and that the new year is a little better than this year, hopefully with a better economy and an equally slow hurricane season and a lot of understanding and peace for all of us. So thank you, Merry Christmas, and Happy New Year. That's it.
Thank you, ma'am. Mrs. Miller?
Yes, Ms. Seifert and I attended the Jump with Jill at Punta Gorda Middle School today, and I believe you received a $5,000, was it a grant, and turned right around and used it as an educational program for the students. You could have used it in many ways, but you turned it right around back to the students, which we all appreciate for that. Also, Florida Power and Light on December 8th and Charlotte County Schools collaborated for an event, Next Generation Solar Education Station at Ellie Ainger Middle School, and that's one of 6 programs in Florida. And it has solar panels, and it's going to provide our students with the hands-on tools to learn about renewable energy. I also want to wish everyone a well-deserved break. It's been exciting and busy and difficult 5 months so far, so everyone deserves a break and spend time with your family. And we hope that you and your family experience a safe and happy holidays. Thank you, Madam Chairman.
Thank you. Mrs. Messina?
Thank you. I spent today lunch with the economic development recruitment team, and representing Charlotte County Public Schools today in that meeting was Carolyn Gorton and Janet Cinta, who is the TV productions teacher at Charlotte High School. And I could tell you more, but I had to sign a confidentiality agreement, as did the two of them. But I want you all to know that they both represented the district really, really well, and that Charlotte High School put together an amazing television production to kind of show this company that Charlotte County is trying to induce to come here, the offerings that we have in television production all the way down elementary, middle, and high school. And so we're hoping that this company does locate here, because it'll be a great opportunity for our students to learn beyond the classroom. So if you see them, mention to them that you heard they did good work, but you don't know what it was about. And they won't be able to tell you, but just know that it happened. I wanted to mention the U.S. News and World Report ranking of Port Charlotte High School, because that is an amazing accomplishment for any school in Charlotte County. It's for any school in the state, and typically it tends to be magnet schools, IB schools, schools that really have their pick of the litter as far as their demographic populations are concerned. And so we could not be more proud of a school than to earn that type of national recognition. It's well deserved, and they've worked really hard over the years to earn it, and I'm very proud of that. I wanted to also mention that if you were quick and you saw the bulletin board, the Tech Center is offering cooking classes now to the general public once a month. So it's kind of cool. Only 15 people can sign up, so get in line. But I think it's fun and exciting, so I've signed up for a few. And then also, if you happen to look quickly on the bulletin board, you may have seen Tiffany Coffey, who is the Art 3 and AP Art something over there at teacher at Port Charlotte High School. Her Art 3 students were doing a fundraiser. And what they did is they went around the community and they took pictures of naturally forming, or not necessarily naturally, but they took letters of the alphabet. They found pictures of letters of the alphabet, and you could spell things out and purchase them. So I wanted to show you some examples of some of the work that they did, because it was really, really cool. This is, if you can't see it from far away, this is my mother's name, Alice. I think it's really quite artistic and fun. And then my sister's last name is Garner, so this is that one. So it's just a really cool, their Art 3 classes do some amazing stuff. And if you pull up the Port Charlotte High School website, the photographs of some of their administrators and students were taken by their Art 3 students, their photography students, and they're really very avant-garde photography. And then this one is Messina. So just a lot of really cool stuff going on over there in their art classes that I wanted to highlight. Other than that, I hope people have safe travels everywhere they go during the holiday season, and God bless all of you. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Swift.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. I had the distinct pleasure to attend several band concerts in the last week, and Thursday I was out at Ainger and Lemon Bay High School for their combined Christmas concert, and a tremendous job by both bands. The Ainger Middle School band is awesome. It is very, very good, and the Lemon Bay band was very good. They had a very good show, some diverse musical presentations, and it just went very well. Last night I was at Charlotte High School with the Punta Gorda Middle School Band and Charlotte High School bands, and they did a great job. A lot of Christmas music, and they even incorporated one little number out of the World Drumming concert that was last week into last night's concert, and it was some comic relief, and it was pretty neat. They got over some difficult technical difficulties before the concert, and it came out very, very good, I thought. I was also glad to be at Ainger for that solar dedication. I got an email the next day. I don't know if any of you received it as well, but it was from some company in California saying that they could put solar projects at schools for virtually no cost to school districts. So I passed it on to have somebody to investigate, because it would, if we could do some more of that and it not cost us any money, that'd be a good thing. My congratulations, too, to the folks at Port Charlotte High School for their honor. As Mrs. Messina said, it often falls to the magnet schools, and the only two in the area that have been consistent on that report have been Fort Myers High School, which is their IB school, and Pineview, the gifted school in Sarasota. So for them to be in that same class and category, and if you look through the whole list of schools in the state that were bronze or higher, most of them were magnet schools, and in much larger districts than we are. I'd like to wish everyone a Merry Christmas and a happy holiday season, and I hope that you all are able to enjoy time with your families, and that because that's the true meaning of the season, and being able to spend time with them and love them and have them with you is what it's all about. So, Merry Christmas.
Thank you, sir. I, too, would like to add my congratulations to Port Charlotte High School. Just an absolutely phenomenal recognition of the work that they have been doing there, and the very focused approach to improving student achievement. And I'm very proud of them, and I know that our community has to be very proud of the Pirates and their accomplishment. Carrie Klum and team, kudos to all of you for fabulous work just wonderful with all the enrollment, all of the changes, everything that you've been doing to pull this all together in a very tight and stressful amount of time. You've just done a fabulous job, and thank you so much. And maintained your even disposition. And I would see some of the emails coming back to you, and you just responded so kindly and so patiently, and we appreciate that very much. I attended Art Sensation. It was a while ago, but we haven't had a board meeting since then, and it was sponsored by the Arts and Humanities Council at the Event Center. And again, I was just so proud to see so many people from Charlotte County Public Schools represented there, both adults and students, including our very own Margie Smith, and really an excellent display of very diverse artistic talent. And our students were performing outside and just getting rave reviews from people who were there, and then all kinds of wonderful exhibits inside, and many of our employees performing as well. So that was really nice. And I also would like to send my holiday wishes to everyone, and I hope that you are blessed with a holiday filled with love and joy and peace, and that extends into our new year as well. Dr. Gaylor, Superintendent, comments.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Just a couple of things. We do have a couple of graduations this week. One is probably finishing up right now, even as we speak, over at the Technical Center. The evening nurse program stopped by there, and they had 9 or 10 graduates there. And I know that Thursday at 6, we have the Academy fall graduation, and then a noon graduation again at CTC. On Friday, we have a brief workshop, not a brief workshop, it's probably a couple hours worth of cleanup on Friday. So we'll get a number of things that we have been putting off, and just some updates on information, including a pretty solid update on the RTT information that is troubling, just so you know what that's all about. So we've got that coming up. And then I just wanted to note that the student art auction at Tommy Bahamas in Sarasota County on St. Armand Circle last Friday, I believe, last weekend at some point. I get my days a little confused sometimes, but that was outstanding. We had our own Lemon Bay High School represented there, a number of artists, and we had Sarasota High represented there too. And it was a silent auction, and their paintings, which were all oil on canvas, by the way, went for at least $50, and then you could bid above that for the silent auction. Then the live auction was, whatever you could get. And I got to tell you, our student artwork and Sarasota High's all went for $150 or more.
Wow.
And one of them sold for $750.
Wow.
$750.
That had to be wonderful
And
for
those
that kid.
students were absolutely beaming when their artwork was purchased. And I got one from John Copper at Lemon Bay High School, a junior who's very proud of his artwork. Started in Chris Broyle's class a number of years ago, sort of found himself there, and just really has blossomed since then. So really happy to get one of those pieces. But that's something that's going to continue, and as I understand it, that sponsorship, which was out of California as well as some of our local folks here, should involve 4 high schools next year. So hopefully 2 high schools from Charlotte, 2 from Sarasota, a little bit bigger venue than that is needed. But since it was so successful this year, and I wish you could have seen the kids' faces, I know it's going to be a continuing success. And thanks to Ellen Harvey for just putting all of that together, just the whirlwind that she is, finding the people and the venue and the schools that wanted to be represented there, and the kids whose art was so good. So I appreciate that. And also just a wonderful holiday to you all as board members, and to our folks out here and anybody who might end up watching this. It's time for peace and happiness, and as each of you has said, a wonderful and special time with very close friends and family. Nothing matters more. And I hope you all have a wonderful holiday. Thanks.
And on that happy note, the meeting is adjourned.